Yo, welcome to the J&J Show on Power 109. Today, me and Jay are going to do one of those famous top 10 lists that only we do, that only we can do. Top 10 NBA players of all time. Now, this list is going to include some of your favorites, and this list might have people on here you don't agree with. We really don't give a shit. Me and Jay have been watching ball since we were born. We were born with a basketball in our hand. We know basketball from A to Z. We're about to give you our top 10 players of all time, the official top 10 players of all time, as certified by Stephen A. Smith, Skip Bayless, Grant Hill,
Craig Hodges.
He has something to say about it. Well, we talked to him last. Because they say shit to Craig Hodges, but stop.
I think who could shoot 3-pointers, and he giving us his expert-ass opinion and shit.
Yeah, Craig, if you're out there, man, we apologize. Not really, but whatever. No, but we're going to give you our top 10 list of all time. Starting at number 10, Isaiah Thomas. Zeke.
Oh, yeah. Number one bad boy.
Yeah, absolutely. What we love about Isaiah is he was only 5'10", while listed at 6'1", but he played like somebody that was 6'11". This guy had absolutely no problem going to the basket against big men, big motherfuckers like Ralph Sampson. He would take the ball right at him. You know, there's no fear in Isaiah at all. He was aggressive. He was all about his teammates. He loved his teammates. And what I loved about him also is whatever he had to do to win, he was going to do it. If he had to shoot the three, he was going to shoot the three.
Yep.
If he had to drive to the basket, if he had to dish for the assist, if he had to throw an elbow, he was going to do it. Whatever he had to do to win, he was going to do it. And this was a leader on one of the greatest teams of all time.
Yeah.
You know, that Bad Boys team of 89-90, absolutely. Mm-hmm. With the motherfucking Worm, goddamn Bill Laimbeer,
Rick Mahorn,
John Sally,
Mark Aguirre,
yep,
Joe Dumars, all of them.
Goddamn Dumars, yeah.
And a lot of times the Pistons don't get the credit that they deserve. You know, they talk about the Lakers and the Celtics and the Bulls and everything, but the Pistons were a damn good team around that same time. You know, and they had to get through the Celtics, and then they had to get through the Lakers, and they was whooping the Bulls' asses for like 3 or 4 years in a row before they finally lost to them. So you got to get a Pistons that just do. And a lot of times people get on it because of their dirty play. A lot of teams were kind of dirty back then, but the Pistons just outdid everybody, and they didn't give a fuck. But the bottom line is they got the job done by any means necessary.
Moving on to number 9, Bill Russell.
11 championships.
Woo! One of the premier big men of that 60s era NBA. And Bill Russell sort of set the tone for the quintessential big man. Rebounding, offensive and defensive, blocking shots, playing defense, scoring, basically controlling the pace of the entire game. That's what Bill Russell did. That's what he brought to the table. 11 times it ended in a championship ring. 11 times.
Right. Most championships in NBA history.
And that's why he's in our top 10. Moving on to number 8.
The Big O, Oscar Robertson.
Mr. Triple-Double. You know, Oscar Robertson averaged a triple-double. How the fuck averaged a triple-double? Think about this shit now. Niggas nowadays barely in their career with a dozen. Well, barely in their career with 10. A nigga be lucky to get a triple-double nowadays. He averaged a goddamn triple-double. That means he was guaranteed to give you 10 assists, 10 boards, and 10 points every night.
Right.
Fuck who they're playing. Big O was going to get you a triple-double.
Hey, look, man, Oscar Robertson was also a scoring fucking machine.
Yeah.
He averaged, like Jay said, a triple-double, all right? This is a guy who would have 12 rebounds, 11 assists, and 30 points a game.
Yeah.
You know, it ain't like he just did it once. This is ridiculous over here. And people forget about the Big O when they think about greatest players. Oscar Robertson, you can't forget about the Big O.
You can't forget about Big O. I mean, this motherfucker was doing everything you could do in the building. He's putting the ball in the basket. He's passing the ball to other players. He's grabbing the basketball off of the rim.
Right.
This motherfucker serving popcorn.
Right. He's doing everything but sweeping up the motherfucking building afterwards.
Pretty much. I mean, O gave you everything you wanted and more. And probably the greatest all-around player to ever live. That's Big O at number 8 on J&J's top 10 NBA players of all time. Moving on to number 7, Shaq, Shaquille O'Neal. Drafted out of LSU, 1992. #1 pick. Shaq sort of came into the league and made his presence felt right away. I mean, he was big, he was powerful. You knew he was going to be a problem already. And Shaq used his size and his ability and his strength to become one of the greatest big men to ever live.
Yeah. Now, a lot of people don't notice about Shaq. I mean, this nigga Shaq in his younger days, I mean, he was doing 360 dunks, and he was running down the court like he was a point guard or some shit. I mean, I've seen it, you know. A lot of people don't really remember that shit. You said what?
His much thinner days.
Right. Nigga was a lot thinner. He had hair, you know, but still, he was doing all that shit. And people don't really remember that. Like, they see Shaq as just like a big diesel, you know what I'm saying? They saw him in the twilight of his career when he was just a big, heavy motherfucker just jamming on people. But shit, he did the same thing back when he was younger, and he had a whole lot more skill with the shit. Something you ain't really used to seeing a motherfucker that size doing.
Right. Shaq was one of those guys who made his teammates better. I remember him playing in Orlando, and you had guys like Dennis Scott and Nick Anderson and Scott Skiles who were sort of average players, role players, and things like that. But alongside Shaq, they looked brilliant at times.
Yeah.
Moving on to L.A. with Kobe and Brian Shaw, Rick Fox, and Robert Horry.
Yep.
You know, he made these guys look brilliant too. Not that they weren't talented by themselves, but, you know, Shaq made them that much better.
Yeah.
You know, Shaq was the first center to ever dominate a game so much that they created this Hack-a-Shaq thing, where it was like, okay, this motherfucker's going to score. So you saw situations where Shaq was taking 25 free throws a game because defenses had no other way to contain it.
Mm-hmm. And he led Orlando to the NBA Finals against Houston in 1995, after only being in the league for a few years. So Shaq did his thing, and just like Jay said, he made his teammates better.
And never mind the fact that he got abused by the Dream in that game. The fact of the matter is he was there.
You just take a complete shit on everything we said.
I mean, when we put his ass in our top 10, that's good enough. We got to talk about the real shit, though. And he got his ass bucked and got exposed.
Niggas gonna be like, well, shit, the Dream in your top 10 instead of Shaq.
Got the question right there. Because Dream was smooth. Dream was fucking niggas up. Niggas slept on Dream. He's 7 foot change. He's a center, obviously. But this motherfucker got footwork like we ain't seen in decades. And a spin move that'll fake your ass out so bad, you'll be jumping damn near out of bounds, thinking he's going to go to the left. And he turned back and go the other way. Right. Leave your ass in the dust. You're like, damn.
Yeah. And the Dream is so respected that Kobe, a few years ago, actually worked out with him and had the Dream help him with spin moves of his own so he'd get better for the next season. So that's some shit for you right there.
Is that true?
Yeah, that's true.
Oh. Word. So as you can see, Kobe worked out with him. And that made Kobe a better player.
Yeah. But after the way he dunked on Elijah Wan, I would have taught him shit. But yeah, I mean, I get what you're saying. You know, he is a better player because of it.
And the person. I'm pretty sure Dream gave advice. You know.
You Kobe's still the same asshole he was before he met the Dream.
Oh man, I think he, I think Dream talked to him a little bit about respecting his wife and things like that. Stop cheating and all that shit. Dream at school, I'm gonna give you these spin moves, but you need to learn about life, nigga. All the cheating and shit.
So is that why he was able to get his wife to stop the divorce proceedings and shit?
Pretty much,
You know, it's crazy niggas that we ended up doing a top 11 without even fucking realizing it because we went so much on the Dream.
Yes.
Niggas found a way to sneak the Dream in there anyway and shit. But yeah, so that's Hakeem the Dream. Well, actually, that's Shaquille O'Neal at number 7.
J&J Show, Power 100, top 10 NBA players of all time. At number 6, Wilt the Stilt Chamberlain.
Woo!
Wilt the Stilt, 7'2", big man, highest scoring game in the history of the NBA, 100 points. And it was easy to do because he was 7'2", and everybody else was like 6'9" and shit. So, he basically towered over everybody, and he used his size to an advantage. Wilt dominated the court on both ends, offensively and defensively. He plugged up the middle. He kept people from just driving to the lane. Wilt sort of set the tone for big men as well as Bill Russell. But Wilt was a little more efficient scoring-wise. And fucking, too, Wilt got a lot of
this nigga said he fucked over 20,000 women. 20,000 women. Shit. I mean, me and Jay think we doing our thing, but shit, 20,000 women. Niggas ain't fucking with Wilt. I mean,
20,000 women. People go out and drop 50 points on niggas. Let me tell you something. I got head before a basketball game one time, and my legs was shit. How this nigga fucked every night and still went out and bust ass on the court, I have no idea. But he definitely deserves it for that reason alone.
Now, this cat averaged 50 points a game one year. 50 points a game. I mean, per game. You know what I'm saying? If a nigga gets 50 points a game, now it's like, yo, you see so-and-so drop 50 last night? Nigga, he got 50 points a game. Every game. For a whole season. The other time he averaged over 40. Niggas wasn't fucking with Wilt. I mean, if you was playing Wilt's team, whether it be the Warriors or the Lakers or whoever, you over there like, oh shit, damn, we in for a long ass night. I mean, and especially if you had to guard Wilt, nigga, you just knew you was about to get handled that night. Period. Ain't shit you could do. You was about to get served. This guy averaged 25 rebounds a game, sometimes more. This guy averaged 48.5 minutes a game. Nigga, think about that. How the fuck you average 48.5 minutes a game? It's only 48 minutes in a game. I mean, this nigga Wilt was doing shit that you just could not do.
Yeah.
Not to mention, this guy led the league in assists one year. Assists.
Yeah.
Big 7'3" ass Wilt Chamberlain leading the league in assists. When's the last time you ever seen a center do some shit like that? I can't think of any time.
There you go. Nigga Jay with them facts. So again, that's Wilt is still Chamberlain at number 6 on our list. At number 5, Kobe Bryant.
Yeah, Kobe. I mean, shit. What the fuck can you say about Kobe Bryant that hasn't already been said by pretty much everybody who's a fan of basketball?
Yeah.
When you talk about the greatest players, Kobe is always mentioned in that conversation. And that's because he's done so much for the game of basketball.
He really has.
Period.
Kobe came in at a young age, 17 years old, some change, and made an impact right away,
He won the dunk contest.
Aggressive play. His defense was on point. And one thing about Kobe, he sort of established himself early on as somebody who wouldn't be pushed around, as somebody who deserved to be in this league. Whereas then you see a lot of young guys come into the league and they are intimidated. But you didn't see that with Kobe. He came in right away and you felt like he deserved to be there.
Yeah.
He's a 5-time NBA champion.
Yep.
He's put up 50 points or more in consecutive games.
Yep.
Kobe
actually has the second highest points next to Wilt Chamberlain. That would be 81. I mean, 81 points a game. You just don't do that kind of shit in today's NBA. Because people want to talk about, it was easier for Wilt back in the day. But in today's NBA, you score 81 points, you shooting your ass off.
You shooting your ass off, and you hogging the fuck out that ball.
Right.
At number 4 on the J&J show, probably 1-0, Larry Bird.
Oh, yeah.
Larry Bird became like the signature white guy for NBA players. No, I'm being serious here, because you had motherfuckers before him, Jerry West, Bob Cousy, John Havlicek, Bill Walton. You had all these George Mikan. You had all these guys before Larry Bird. But when Larry came along and started doing what he was doing, that's when you felt like white guys can be the shit. And they can bust a lot of these niggas' asses out here.
Yep. Larry Bird at that time was the true definition of the great white hope.
Yeah.
Because the Lakers or the Celtics, they really made you pick a side. It's like the East and the West and anything else. But, I mean, Bird was just a man as far as a lot of people were concerned. You love Boston, you love Larry Bird. And you just knew that no matter what, or at least you hoped, that he was going to win every game for you, win every championship for you. Even if the Celtics were down 3-1, you still had hope that Larry Bird was going to bring them back. That's what I mean by him being the great white hope. Everybody put their faith in Larry Bird.
Absolutely. Couldn't agree more with Jay. Jay came with the facts again. And one thing about Larry is he wasn't the most athletic player. Couldn't jump the highest. He wasn't the fastest. Didn't have the greatest defense. But goddamn if he couldn't shoot. And,
oh, yeah.
He was shooting anywhere on the court. and hit nothing but the bottom of the net. 3-time NBA champion.
Yep.
And, Larry worked hard. He made his teammates better. Everybody from Kevin McHale to
Robert Parrish.
Chief.
Yep.
To
Dennis Johnson.
There you go. Danny Ainge.
Mm-hmm.
There's a lot of guys that he played with, and he made them better. And he will always be remembered for his rivalry with Magic Johnson, and basically how the two of them together saved the NBA from itself, and made it a household sport and made it something that America fell in love with. Also a gold medalist, part of the Dream Team, the greatest team ever assembled. So at number 4 on our list, that is Larry Legend, Larry Bird. Moving along, number 3, Kareem Abdul-Jabbar, Skyhook, Lou Alcindor, leading scorer of all time, 20-plus seasons in the NBA.
Mm-hmm.
He developed a move that would dominate the game of basketball throughout his career. This move was unstoppable. Nobody could touch it. Nobody could stop it. Nobody could block it. Nobody could come close to it, and that's the Skyhook. And this is what's fucked up about the Skyhook. You would think a lot of these little niggas coming up now would watch tapes of Kareem and develop their own goddamn Skyhook. You take bum-ass motherfuckers like Kwame Brown, who have no talent, but they big as shit. What if he actually took time and worked on a Skyhook? That nigga would be dominant.
Yeah.
Niggas 7 foot change and want to play like they 6'2", dribbling and shit, and they get the ball stolen every time. I hate them niggas, man.
Yeah, they could dominate, or at least get some more playing time.
Exactly. But, Kareem taught big men how to be big men and won several championships in the NBA, part of that Lakers dynasty, all-time leading scorer, like I said before. One of the things about Kareem, too.
Over 38,000 points.
38,000 points, there you go. A lot of niggas in their career with 8,000 points. Ain't gonna say nobody's name, Scotty Brooks. But one of the things about Kareem, I think it's really sad because if you look at his contribution to the NBA during his playing years, it doesn't get much better than Kareem.
Yeah. Born Lou Alcindor, known as Kareem Abdul-Jabbar, but remembered as champion.
There you go.
Here's a guy who also averaged a double-double for multiple seasons. Okay, I'm talking about a guy who averaged over 16 rebounds a game some seasons, 14 rebounds a game, 15 rebounds a game. I mean, Kareem was doing it while he was still scoring 30 points every night.
Yeah.
People don't really remember that. True basketball fans do, but a lot of people, he's recognizable. He's one of the most recognizable faces in the history of sports. If you look at Kareem, you know what I'm saying? The goggles, you know what I'm saying? The bald head. People know who he is, but you don't really think about how good he was. A lot of people just came in on the tail end of his career.
Yeah.
But if you really look at his entire career, Kareem was the man. And this is why. I mean, he done shit that a lot of motherfuckers just simply cannot do.
Yeah, and I'm going to say this in closing. One of the sad things about Kareem is that when you look at his contribution, during his playing days, they were pretty significant. But he has been unable to land a head coaching job ever since he left the NBA. And I've seen several articles about this subject, alone. And they're saying, each article said pretty much the same thing, that Kareem was a dick during his playing days. Like, he was an asshole. He didn't get along with people. He was talking shit. He cussed motherfuckers out, tell motherfuckers what he wasn't going to do and what they could suck and things like that.
Damn.
And it doesn't sound like the Kareem we know, but then we don't know Kareem.
Right.
So, you see a nigga like him without a head coaching job, that's why. He didn't get along with folks. And, sad.
Yeah, because it seems like he has a lot of knowledge that he could pass along to the younger guys. And
especially to other big men, to these young cats coming up,
Yep.
Niggas are 7'4" and some change that want to shoot 3-pointers. Somebody can tell them, man, take your big ass down low and get you a higher percentage shot, bitch ass nigga. But, they won't give him a chance, so that's sad. But Kareem, hey, we respect you on the J&J show, Power 101. And you're number 3 on our list.
Attitude.
That's some yoga or something, man. Meditate. Now we're getting down to our final 2 on J&J show's top 10 NBA players of all time. At number 2, Earvin Magic Johnson.
Oh, man. His nickname says it all. Magic.
Says it all. Magic sort of, I don't want to say he revolutionized the position of point guard, but never in the history of the NBA did you have somebody with that type of size playing the guard position, the point guard position, being able to see You know, Magic saw things that you at home watching didn't even see.
Right.
You saw a guy open in the corner that you didn't see. Mind you watching this from a bird's eye view almost. You can see the entire floor. And you still didn't see James Worthy sitting over there in the pocket.
Right.
Like, what the fuck? Where James' ass come from? This is what Magic did as a 6'9" point guard. I mean, and at the same time, he obviously created defensive mismatches with a typical point guard is 6 foot, 5'10" maybe. You know, so Magic was able to dominate in that way as well. But Magic could shoot, he could pass, dribble, finger roll, had court vision like none other. And, you know, his feud with Larry Bird is, again, you know, just like we said with Larry, you know, this is sort of what saved the NBA from itself, because the NBA was on a decline at that point. You know, when him and Larry came into the league, their rivalry breathed life into the league.
Yeah, there was a renewed interest in the NBA
There you go.
when they came along. And that rivalry started way back from college. And then they came to the NBA, and I remember Magic saying he wanted to be Rookie of the Year, and Larry Bird won Rookie of the Year, and he said the fucking voting wasn't even close. He's like, okay, fuck this, you know, so he won the NBA Finals MVP. I mean, you know, they were always trying to outdo each other. The teams were always trying to outdo each other, but it was a great rivalry. And getting back to Magic himself, like Jay said, he could see the court, he could see over top of whoever his defender was. He could make these dazzling passes. I mean, he has so much skill and so much finesse, and he has such a mind for the game that few people could really touch Magic in the NBA. I mean, he really was a sight to see if you ever watch him play. Just some of the highlights that you can look up on YouTube if you need to. Magic was the man when it came to playing the game of basketball. Like Jay said, he knew how to pass and shoot and find his teammates. He knew how to do everything. He could play all 5 positions.
Pretty much all 5 positions. And again, several NBA championships and a gold medal. Part of that 1992 Dream Team, the greatest team ever assembled. And that's Irvin Magic Johnson at number 2 on our list on the J&J Show, Power 101. And at number 1, you know what it is, Michael Air Jordan.
Yeah.
Air Jordan. What? I mean, let me start by saying this, because motherfuckers are starting to talk shit nowadays that Jordan's been out of the league forever. And let's talk about who might be the greatest of all time. Listen, there's no disputing this. Michael Jordan is the greatest player of all time, the greatest player to ever pick up a basketball. You know, I appreciate what Kobe and LeBron James and these other motherfuckers are doing, and these young boys. They're not fucking with Jordan. Somebody who averaged 30 points for his career? Are you kidding me?
Yeah.
You know, somebody who literally scored at will.
Yep.
You know, I see games where LeBron James and Kobe are just lethargic out there. These niggas are shooting up bricks and almost you can't even really remember a Jordan game where he played, where he stunk it up.
Right.
You know, Jordan went out there and just put fear in the hearts of the defenders. Either whether he was busting John Stark's ass or busting up the bad boys, whether he was going at Magic, Larry, you know, any of those guys, Clyde, Charles Barkley, Jordan always gave 110%.
Yeah, because Jordan had a will to win. That's why.
There you go.
You know, he didn't give a fuck about the opposition. He actually relished that because he wanted to be the best. And if he wanted to be against Magic, he loved that. Because, well, okay, you know what? Now we got 2 of the best on the stage. Let me show what I can do. Same thing when he went into the Boston Garden and scored 63 points. No, wasn't nobody going to the Boston Garden, the old Boston Garden, in the mid to late 80s, scoring those 63 points in a playoff game?
Yep.
But he did it.
Yep. He did it.
And he only had a couple of years in the league at that point and still did it.
Yep. And, you know, Jordan, he revolutionized the game of basketball. You know, we talk about Magic revolutionizing the point guard position. Jordan revolutionized the game of basketball. Jordan took the game and sort of made it his own. Whereas then you had Jordan in a league of his own almost. There was no other player at that time that was on his level that you could really compare to Jordan and say that this guy is similar. This guy can create competition for Jordan. This is somebody who can guard Jordan. You know, I watch the guys nowadays. You know, LeBron James is good. Kobe's great. There's a lot of good players right now, but you don't feel like any of those guys stand neck and shoulders above everybody else in the league, right? You look at LeBron James, you feel like Kobe's on his level. You feel like Carmelo Anthony might be on his level. You feel like Dwayne Wade might be on his level. With Jordan, at his time, during his era, nobody was on his level. Nobody was close. Not only that, but you looked at the players that came before him, like the Wilts and the Kareems and the Magics and the Birds, and even those players weren't on his level. when he hit his prime. You know, Dr. J and these niggas, nobody was on his level.
You know how when you see people coming to the league, they automatically want to compare them to somebody before them, such as Kobe and LeBron, comparing them to Jordan. When you saw Jordan, you didn't compare him to somebody else. You said, damn, it was all about Jordan himself. He was Michael Jordan. He wasn't the next so-and-so. He was Michael Jordan. And everybody else after him was compared to him. That's the difference. You know, like you don't say, okay, well, this guy's the next Kobe Bryant. No, you compare Kobe to Jordan because Jordan set the standard.
Right. Absolutely. Absolutely. And, you know, one other thing about Michael Jordan that a lot of people like to point out is the fact that he played during an era where the defense was a lot tougher. There was a lot of hand-checking back then. There was a lot of roughing people up. Nowadays, if you breathe on LeBron James, you get a foul called on you.
Yeah.
Jordan got banged up. You know, you guys like Charles Oakley and X-Man McDaniels and the entire Bad Boys roster and the Pistons.
Oh, yeah, they knocked him on his ass.
Jordan rough time every night. You know, whenever Jordan came to town, he got roughed up, beat up. There was no – Jordan wasn't given a pass. Jordan had to earn every bucket, and he damn sure did. And I feel like what the league was back then versus what's going on now, it was definitely a lot tougher to get off 32 points a night. And Jordan did it with such ease. It was just amazing. Jordan, easily the greatest player of all time. Don't talk to me about LeBron James and Kobe until they dominate the sport the way that Jordan did. LeBron James has some time, but from what I've seen so far, it's not going to happen. And let me say something else, too. Jordan stuck with his team.
Mm-hmm.
He didn't say, I'll get my ass bust. Shit, let me go join Magic and see if I can get me a ring that way.
Right.
No, that's not what niggas did back then. Jordan said, nah, fuck that. I'm the shit. You know, put some guys around me that want to play with the shit, and I'm going to go take it to the top and bring home the shit. The shit being a ring, a trophy. You know, I don't respect LeBron James and Chris Bosh and these motherfuckers that can't stick with their team and got to go team up with everybody else to get a ring.
Right.
You know, Charles Barkley had to retire without a ring. That's just what you have to do sometimes. You know, Jordan stuck with Scotty, John Paxson, B.J. Armstrong, Cartwright, Horace Grant, Craig Hodges, and these motherfuckers to get his rings. And you say what you want, but LeBron James does not the heart that Jordan had.
Mm-hmm.
You know,
I agree with that completely.
Yeah.
LeBron James, to me, is a whiner. He's a complainer. He's a poor fucking sport. You have to lose before you can really learn how to win and appreciate it.
Yeah, absolutely.
LeBron was not that person.
Yeah, absolutely.
He complained about every little fucking thing. When he lost, you know, the nigga didn't want to shake no hands. He didn't want to talk to nobody. He couldn't talk to the media. Fuck you, okay? You in the fucking NBA, nigga. And you're supposed to be this big-ass deal. King James, right? And then you want to turn around and act like that? There ain't no fucking example to set. MJ, he had to lose too. But when he did, hey, you still gave interviews. You still had class. Even if he was mad on the inside, you still showed class. And he came back the next year and got better and got better and got better until he just could not fucking lose.
Yeah.
That's it.
There we go. And again, that shows heart. It shows class. And, you know, Jordan didn't come in and the Bulls didn't start winning this shit until the 90s. Jordan came into the league in 84. So that's 6 years of getting his ass spanked by Magic, Larry, and Isaiah. And he had to deal with it. He had to take it. But, you know, when they put a decent team around him, got him a power forward somewhere, a little point guard and things, they started winning.
Mm-hmm.
You know, and Jordan didn't say, well, listen, hey, Larry, look, I'm about to come rock with y'all. Y'all getting it done over there? You know, I ain't shit over here.
Right. Instead, he made his own teammates better.
Yeah.
That's what he did.
Better. Exactly. You know,
and only the great can do that.
Only the greats can do that, man. LeBron James, nigga, you should be ashamed. As far as I'm concerned, that championship ring you have will have an asterisk by it. Anything you get in the future will have an asterisk by it until you go back to Cleveland. And when a champion, I mean, it's not like they didn't put players around him. Oh, buster ass nigga. You had Anton Jameson. You had some decent players up there. You had motherfucking Eric Snow for a while. You know?
Gibson.
Got that damn booby. At his ass.
Right. Who could shoot threes. He could shoot threes.
Yeah, and you had Anderson Varejao. You had some players up there, man. You know, it's your job as a leader to make those players better.
Yep.
And you just didn't get it done. So, as far as I'm concerned, you always have an asterisk by your name, by your championship ring. Fuck LeBron and his hairline. That nigga hairline looks like a sunroof.
So that's Michael Jordan, the number one on our list.
That nigga got an old Tay Diggs hairline. That nigga got a hairline like that nigga headband sitting at a 75-degree angle and shit. He gonna fuck around. He gonna ask David Stern if they can wear bandanas and shit. He the first player in the do-rag. That nigga was trying to lie and say he a Muslim so he can wear a kufi and shit. That nigga was change his name to LeBron X and shit. Fuck that nigga, man.
Nigga said LeBron Ali. All right. Hey, well, that's number one on our list. Michael Air Jordan, greatest player of all time.
J&J Show, Power 100, top 10 NBA players of all time. Peace.
Jordan a drive, hangs, fires, yes! The Bulls lead 87-86. Oh my goodness.